Righty then, let's have a look at what England need to do. Should we say something nice? Yeah, they finished top of the group and they didn't lose a game. They've only conceded one goal, but they've been dog poo, haven't they? So this is 5 things that England need to do. First up, they need to play Kobe Mainoo. Now, going into the tournament, maybe we were all being, me especially, being a little bit biased, saying that I think Kobe Mainoo needs to play. He offers a different dynamic to anybody else, especially when you're getting the likes of Gallagher selected because he runs a lot. The first half and second half stat comparison between what Gallagher offered and what Mainoo offered, plus the eye test of just watching what Mainoo delivers when he's on the pitch. There can't be a single person with fully functioning eyes and a brain that understands football that thinks Kobe Mainoo does not start games on merit. This isn't giving a young lad a bit of a chance. He is just a great option to partner alongside Declan Rice in that midfield. Stylistically, his profile is probably unique in the England squad, and he can massively help improve the thing that this England team is terrible at. He really helps with the ball retention. He really helps with combining players. He can switch it up, start going one touch. There's an element of cocky flair to his game that this England team sorely needs. It might be too much flavour, but this England team badly needs some flavour to it because they're a reflection of that manager at the moment with his fucking plain ham meal deals. And Kobe Mainoo is just bringing a little bit of spice that this team absolutely needs to be a good meal. I think he complements Bellingham real nice and he complements Rice real nice. And I cannot see a single reason why you wouldn't play him. I think he offers a nice balance in that midfield. Number 2, and sort of extrapolating on this point a little bit, pick one playmaker. You've got so many playmakers in this team that you've got no one for them to actually play it to. Because everybody wants to get on the ball and make something happen. Bellingham wants to get on the ball and make something happen. Kane wants to get on the ball and make something happen. Foden wants to get on the ball and make something happen. And then you've got people demanding Cole Palmer comes into the team. Like Saka even is a little bit of a playmaker. Why playmaker? Like you don't really have enough people that are in there just to put the ball in the back of the net. I can make a case why Watkins should play. I can make a case why Bowen and Gordon should play. Even the experiment with bringing Trent in as some sort of a playmaker. Just pick a playmaker, put everything through that one playmaker. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of council workers, where one person will be digging a hole and 6 people will be doing the health and safety and observing him and marking him. Too many people with clipboards, not enough people getting shovels and going to work. And that's what England need at the moment. Get one person with a clipboard and let's get 5 people digging fucking holes. Very straightforward. Now, I still think that you can find a way for Bellingham and Kane that would work real well because we've seen Bellingham in a bit of a false 9 sort of position. Well, that would work perfectly. When Kane drops off into the space, have Bellingham slingshot him and go in behind and lead the line. He's got the profile and the physique to do that. But when you're playing Bellingham and you're playing Foden and you're playing Kane and you can throw blanket over the 3 of them, what is the point? And I see people saying bring Cole Palmer, he's had a fantastic season. When he comes on, he looks really good, and I don't disagree. But what problem is Palmer coming into the team to solve? That's what people have to think about, and I think that's what people miss. They just go, good player, play him, right? But no, what role is he here to fill? One playmaker. Or play with 2. But sacrifice something else in the team. Maybe go to a back 3 to do that. There has to be more deliberate planning in how this team is going to shape up because I feel like Gareth Southgate does nothing from a tactical point of view. And he's scraping through games where England should be absolutely wiping the floor with them. And this is before I even get involved in the runners. Gordon has to play. Bowen has to play. One of those has to play. I could even make a case for dropping Kane, which sounds mental to do at this point, but you can't tell me that the performances so far warrant any level of positivity going into the remaining games at all. England have to start stretching the pitch. They have to start asking questions of opposition. They're too easy to play against. And the problem is, I'm just a fucking YouTuber that coaches an amateur team. And if I can look at that and go, hang on, that team's going to struggle to break people down 2 weeks before the tournament starts. Nobody in the England squad thought of this. And then you hear them coming out and going, oh, I didn't know they were going to play with a back three. I'm sorry, what? What do you mean you didn't know they were going to play with a back three? You've known who was in your group for how long? I watched them. You've seen my previews on here about what the opposition are going to do. And was they correct? It's not good enough. From that management team, supposedly the pick of the best in the country, not fucking good enough. If you can be matched or beaten by some fucking helmet on YouTube. Number 4, play the runners. The only runners in the team are Gordon, Watkins, Bowen, and you can make a case that both of them have to start. You can be argued that the team dynamics are being upset by Foden playing left wing and crowding that central area, and by Trippier narrowing in behind him too because he needs to get onto his right foot. Foden doesn't instinctively create either. I think he's a carry and shoot kind of player centrally. He is very much a luxury player, and he is a very good player. People like to say, oh, this is an anti-City bias. Well, if it was an anti-City bias, you'd hear me asking for John Stones not to play or for Kyle Walker not to play or something along those lines. It's not the case. I think you could find a way to play Foden. I don't necessarily think he's done anywhere near enough to just be given the opportunity to play as a number 10. But I don't think he deserves to just automatically start either. I would, against the teams England got in their group, which are essentially like League One sort of level players, you could have played a 4-2-3-1 with Harry Kane in the 10. And on paper, that's going to look like a 4-4-2, and some people are going to go, fucking hell, that's wild. But the threat coming from the opposition is minimal. And if you put Kane and Watkins up against a back 2 or even against a back 3, you're going to cause them all sorts of problems. And England didn't do that. England did not do that at all whatsoever. I don't know of any idea what the fuck they've set up to do. Now, I was thinking about this yesterday as I was flying, and I was thinking, how would I pick a squad? You got, 25, 26, whatever it is supposed to pick. And I was like, right, okay, I'm going to pick my first team and my tactics for playing against France or Spain or Germany in a final, right? What's my team? If we're playing in the final tomorrow, what's my team? I'm going to pick that team. I'm going to pick the tactics for that team. And then I'm going to go, cool. What happens when we play a team that we are better than, that's going to low block us? Here would be my team for that, and here would be my tactics for that. And then I might have a plan C as well, which is either a team that's far better than us, or what would I do if maybe we find ourselves down to 10 men, or let's say I say Bellingham or Kane is my preferred option in certain areas. They're not available because, injuries, bookings, suspensions, all that sort of stuff happens. So I would try and go into a tournament with like 3 things, but I'm not just going to spring them on the nation the first game and be like, ta-da, Trent Alexander-Arnold, not good enough to play right back, easily the 3rd choice right back in this squad, now playing centre mid ahead of the midfielders that I brought. No one saw that coming, did they? I would have been using the years and months ahead of this tournament to perfect those ways of playing. We're playing France. I'm going to see if France will actually play their best team against us. And I'm going to reveal my hand a little bit. I'm going to play my tactics that I would like to play. Maybe I don't start with them. Maybe I switch to my tactics after 30 minutes. Maybe I switch them in the second half. Maybe I play a very obvious plan A against them in the first half, and then maybe I switch up in the second half. So at least when they come to do their research on us and go, right, well, how are they going to play against us? They don't actually know for sure how we're going to line up against them. But I don't see that level of planning in him. I see him maybe putting a team out at the moment that I think he may play in the bigger games, but I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know what he's trying to do. And maybe that comes to number 4. Take the fucking shackles off. England arguably played the worst football in the competition, certainly in comparison to the level of talent they have. When you look at what Ralf Rangnick's doing with Austria, you go, y'all seen this? Because that's freedom, fluidity, intensity, quality. England, like I said earlier, reflection of the man in charge. Too safe, too restricted. And a team that Ancelotti would be sensational with. He's going to allow the players to express themselves and just Like, there's too many times England have gone a goal up and just fucking tossed it off. Not one of those players does that for the clubs that they play for, yet with England, it's been there consistently over years and years and years. And the guy's coming out here saying, oh, for 7 or 8 years, I haven't had an option in midfield. What the actual living fuck are you talking about? Or we haven't managed to find a replacement for Calvin Phillips. When you had him, you didn't play him. He's got no bollocks at all. And the fifth one, this is a controversial one. Sack him. Sack Southgate right now. They're not going to do that because the FA doesn't have the bollocks to handle such a seismic shift in the middle of a tournament. But everything about the way this England team play and set up is anti-modern. There is no fluidity. There is no proximity between players for combinations. The structure is non-existent. The player strengths are not being optimized. There are no force multipliers in there. He coaches like a man that is out of his depth and scared of the moment that he finds himself in. He does not know how to win football matches. And we said this before the tournament. Losers lose. Winners go out and win. And when you're putting players on, we saw this with Marcus in the World Cup. You're putting players on to win you a game and giving them 3 or 1 minute. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know, going back to the countless times Fergie threw caution to the wind. He goes, I'd rather lose 2-0 than 1-0. I'd rather lose 2-0 when I'm trying than just accept a 1-0 and just let it happen. He will always try and gamble and flood the opposition. And have you ever seen Southgate make a positive sub? It takes him to the 89th minute sometimes to make a substitution out of the structure that he's playing. He just goes like for like, like for like, like for like. Was it France he brings on? I think it might have been Calvin Phillips or Jordan Henderson, someone like that, whatever it was at the World Cup. It was a like for like sub first. If you're not creating chances, let's put more bodies forward. Let's go 1 for 1 at the back. We're losing. Sav it. What's there to lose? You don't have a man that's got the fucking stones to try something. And when you can't commit to trying to win a game, you're not going to win games. I mean, you're barely winning games that you should absolutely... Like, England have got the capability to have scored 3 and 4 goals in the group stage against every team that they fucking played. Yes, Denmark was a little bit of a tougher prospect, but they could have done it. They're going to achieve nothing with this guy in charge. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to progress quite well in this competition because the stack of teams that's on the opposite side. But you can't just analyse football by looking at the result alone. The result is very important. But if you don't win anything, you can't just eliminate all of the analysis by going, well, they got quite far. Well, did they? Who have they beat? Because his record against the big teams is fucking abysmal. Anyway, that's the 5 things I think England need to do. Let me know which ones you agree with, disagree with, or if there's any ideas that you've got yourself that you want to share with the group. Take it easy. See you in a bit.